Hey everyone, it's Almo, and this is my speed run of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I'm doing commentary because for people who aren't familiar with the game, it might be really hard to understand what's going on because I mashed through all of the text. So you won't, if you've never played the game before, then you won't know anything about what's going on in the story. So I'll be explaining that. I'll be explaining my speedrun route. Some strategies I use, why I do certain things instead of something else, and I'll also be explaining other things such as what's luck-based, just details about the game to help you get a better idea of what's going on. Also, it's a 6-hour plus game, between 6 and 7 hours is what I'm aiming for, and so that might be really hard for some people to sit through, and just this video alone is about 45 minutes, so that might be, even that is just hard for some people to sit through. So this commentary is just to make it more interesting. I did this a while back, and people were really receptive to the idea, so I decided I would do it again. So right now what just happened at the beginning was, this is just a 2-minute intro, nothing's going on, so I'll just explain the story a bit. So Luigi and Mario get a letter in the mail that Peach is in Rogueport and she found a map to a legendary treasure. So Mario went to check it out, and so he's on a boat to come into the harbor, and when he gets there, you will see what happens. But yeah, so this prologue, this first segment I did is about 6 minutes long, so if you want to skip to the next part for whatever reason, because you've played this game so many times and you hate the intro or something, you can just go about 6 minutes in. Okay, so he gets here in the harbor, and what you have to do here is just, there's only one direction to go in, and it initiates this battle. This is a forced battle. This route is almost entirely forced battles. There are maybe a handful, if even that, of battles that you get into that you wouldn't have to. So this is a battle with Lord Crumb. He has 5 HP. So what I did there, where it said great, was I super guarded, which is you press B, and you have a certain frame window. I believe it's 1/4 of a second, so you have about 15 frames, which you can press the B button, and it will, deal 1 damage back to him. And since he has 5 HP, the ideal strategy is to do 2 jumps, which does 2, and then Super Guard, which does 3, and then 4 and 5. So you only do 2 turns with Mario and 1 turn with him. If you don't do the Super Guard, or you miss the timing on it, he gets to go a second time, and then you have to take a 3rd turn to damage him. So obviously that's the fastest way to do it. So yeah, they just ran away, and all these little things here, the X-Nauts, which is a little army of bad guys. And basically you saved Goombella from Crump being a bully, because she knows about the legendary map and stuff. So there's just some dialogue going on right now, and not a whole lot happening. Background's kind of funny. So this conversation with Toadsworth, he has a certain number of things that he says, and right there when Mario jumps up, you have to wait for the little scene in the background to go away before they start talking again. So you can just mash through that, and then you kind of get a break. The text in this game is really strange how it works, and it actually took me a bit to figure out. If you mash A and B together, it's slightly faster than just mashing B, and if you mash A and B like back and forth, it's slightly faster than mashing them together. So with a game with about 50 or 60% of it being text, it's pretty important. So and then there's different types of times where it's faster to just mash one button over the other. For example, those blue boxes that appear right there, it's faster to just mash B. But pretty much all normal dialogue, you should hit A and B, you know, back and forth. And actually mash faster with my right hand, so I end up kind of holding the controller in a weird way where like I don't have access to the control stick. So I've done really weird clawing methods for some of these segments where I'll be mashing A and B with my left and right hand, and then like my left pinky will be like moving the control stick until I get to like a different part. It's very interesting, but it's just because I'm slow at mashing. So right there you broke the guy's contact lens, and he prevents you from going into the west side of town. It's faster to do it in the intro here because you have to go on the west side of town for chapter 3, and there's a certain amount of time that has to pass where you order the contact lens and then you can give it to him. So it's just easier to just do it in the beginning because you have to go into this shop also and buy a fire flower and 8 fright masks, which you use later. So I'm saving here, and you have to hit this save block anyway because you otherwise Goombella explains to you what saving is. So I just figured it would be great to end the segment there because the next parts coming up in segment 2 are pretty difficult, and I wanted the best possible time I could get. So wasting the extra few seconds that you take for saving was worth it. So right there, that guy still steals. He always steals half your coins. So if you don't buy anything and you have 100, he steals 50 of them. So my route is specifically designed where I will end up with a 1 coin at the very end. So the things that I buy, like I don't need to go back and get any of those coins from him. You make up most of the money in this game from selling badges, which get you a lot of money. So this guy right here is Professor Frankly, and you kind of just have some dialogue with him. He's not that important. You basically just come back to him after every chapter, which explains... It's just story stuff. It's not really anything important, and you have to do it. So now you're going to head down this pipe, and there's some text here that's going to scroll by pretty fast, but I'm going to answer 2 questions, and I'll explain something about that in a second. So right there and right there. So to answer the first one, there's certain dialogues where if you hit B, it always chooses the second option, or like the more negative option, like if it's no or if a yes and no question. And then there's some where you have to actually move the control stick. So like I had to like hit up there before I hit B, or else it would just choose the wrong one. And then the other one I could just mash B and it would just choose the second one automatically. So this Goomba battle, I've never had a fright mask fail. I believe it works 100% of the time, but if it doesn't, it works almost every time, like 99% of the time. I've never had it fail. So that can always work there. And then the moving platform in the background, you actually have to mash through the text fast enough so you can get it early. And I did a hammer there after the dialogue from mashing B, but it doesn't matter because I got the platform early still. If you don't get it early, it wastes about 5 to 7 seconds. So that's also why I ended the segment there before. These Goombas are very tricky. I was able to just run straight by them, but usually you're not able to do that, which is where I saved a bunch of time in this segment. But the Goombas typically are in the middle of the hallway, and you kind of have to drag them towards the gate or up against the wall, and then you kind of do an arc around them, because Mario barely outruns them, and the hallway is so thin that you have to do that. So running by them without stopping at all or kind of dragging them to one side of the hallway is a lot faster. I hammered there again. That was pretty sloppy. So I picked up that black key and I opened this box, which gives me the plane curse. They're called curses, but you need them to beat the game. So as you can tell, there's a lot of dialogue in this game, and you have to mash through all of it. So if you don't know what the story's about, hopefully me explaining it will help you get a better idea of it. Also with the text, like I kind of use the number of text bubbles that there are as visual cues. For instance, after the box closed, Goombella said, "What is that guy's problem?" or whatever, and there's just one, so I just mash B, and then I'm able to move again. Like this one coming up here, I know that he talks once, and then frankly does 2 more text bubbles. So there's 1, and then 1, 2. So yeah, I've memorized how many there are. So the way I mash, where I mash the B button with my right thumb and the A button with my left thumb, I know when I need to move my hand back to the control stick, so I don't wait around forever. But yeah, so this is me at the 1,000-year door, and it's just going to show you the location of the first crystal star. I'm doing this all in one take, so I'm trying to cut down on the ums and ahs and all the dead silence, but it's pretty much just me talking for 45 minutes, and this is the first take I'm doing, so if there is a lot of that, then I apologize, but hopefully the commentary will be interesting either way. So yeah, you don't need to ever really use the map in this game. It's kind of not helpful anyway if you're just doing casual play, because it just kind of shows you the general direction that it's in, but there's so many... The game is sort of like a maze that it doesn't really help. So if you want to find out where to go, do not use the map in-game, just look up online. So what he was just explaining there, where I answered no to those 2 questions, was do you know how to use star power, which you get from, you originally get Sweet Treat from the, just going to the 1,000-year door and showing the first location. But, so each time you go there, you learn a new special move after you take a crystal star to there. But obviously it's faster to not have him show you. And he just gave you a badge there, which was Power Smash, and no, I don't need to learn how to use those either. So I'm just going to equip that real quick, because I need that in a second. And also, if you go down this pipe and you don't equip it, Goombella will explain to you how to equip badges, so you should just do it then. And the plane curse that we just got, we're going to be able to use to get over this gap. And we are going to fight this blooper. So this is the first kind of boss that you fight in the game. It's a mini boss though. He's only got 12 HP, and his main attacks when he's on the ceiling are his little tentacles there. So that fire flower that I picked up in the shop, since the tentacles have 3 HP and the fire flower does 3, I'm just gonna use those to knock both those out and hit him, and also when he doesn't have his tentacles, he falls down, he's not able to attack. So now I'm going to use the Power Smash, which deals more damage than a regular one. So now he's at 5 HP, and now at 3 from those 2, and since he can't attack, I can just do a failed Power Smash because it's faster, and it still does 3. So really quick to kill him, less than a minute. And now when he leaves, he's going to open up the path to get to Petal Meadows. So going down this pipe is going to end the prologue and start chapter 1. So the only mistakes I really made in the prologue were a couple of hammers in places that I didn't want them to be, but otherwise everything was pretty optimal. So now Mario is just going to make his way through Petal Meadows and go to Petalburg, and you're going to see a giant dragon monster fly overhead, which you will fight later. I will not post spoilers in case you've never seen the game before, but it's been out for 8 years, so hopefully you have, because this is a great game. So these little structures here, you come back to them later. You need to go get items, which is where I'm going right now. More Goombas. I hate how their spawn points are RNG, which is a random number generator. They're just random. There are only a few enemies in the game that aren't RNG with the spawn points, but it's a lot better than wild battles because you can still outrun them. So I'm jumping here in the background because jumping in the background is faster than walking, but in the foreground it's the same speed, so it's a lot less annoying if you're just walking instead of hearing him jump and saying hoo-ha, hoo-ha, because the original person that speedran this and got the record way back in 2006 or whatever, or 2005, he jumped everywhere, and it was the most obnoxious thing. So now we are in Petalburg, and there's really only one route to take. I've basically just been explaining what's going on in the game, but to explain my route, everything's been pretty standard. I mean, there's only one route you can really take. There's nothing that's really faster in terms of movement. The game follows a pretty linear path, so it's just a few time savers here and there with movement stuff. I redid this segment a lot because it was so short, and there's some luck involved, and I wanted it to be pretty much perfect, which I will explain later what the luck is that made me reset so many times. So that was a mistake there, jumping in front of the door, because A is to jump, and A is also to go into doors. So you have to wait for the little exclamation point to show up.
Oh yeah.
So you're gonna get an email here, and I just go in there and check the email real quick and back out, because otherwise every time you get an email it will explain what an email is, and obviously that's a time waster. Yep, he comes back later. So now we are going to Schwank Fortress. So we're just going to go on a couple of paths here and do some pretty standard stuff. So we pick up that POW block because in this room right here, these bald clefts, which are the names of the enemies, the only thing that can beat them is a POW block right now because their defense is too high for Mario's level 1 hammer attack and jumps. So you pretty much have to use those. So once you beat them, the gate opens up into the next area, and you kind of just do the same thing all the way up there. And why I redid this segment so much was because when you pick up the items, they kind of just bounce all over the place, and like out of the bush there, it's random if it goes out the left or the right. So I just redid it over and over until I got pretty much perfect luck. Again, you have to use a POW block on them. If you try to run up and use your hammer, their little spikes out the side will hit you, and you can't jump on them because they're spiked. So the bald clefs won't deal any damage to you if you try to hit them, but those guys will. And Goombella only jumps on people or Tattles, so you can't really do anything with her either. Yep, the RNG with the fire flower popping out the right side of the box. And I'm going to save here to end that segment because the next segment is incredibly luck-based. So this one took a lot of attempts too. So I'm just going to talk to this thwomp here, and it's going to initiate a quiz. There's only 2 quizzes in the whole game, but for anyone that's played the original Paper Mario, you know if there's a thwomp, there's probably a quiz. It's just what they're known for in the series. So I memorized all the answers, and you know, so obviously this is going to go pretty quick. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you what the answers are. I just memorized them, that it's 1, 3, 4, 2, 3. I mean, if I actually looked at the questions, I would know the answers, but it's just the fastest way to do it, just knowing what you're supposed to choose. There's 7 questions in total, and you basically just have to get 5 right. So if you take that quiz and you're just playing normally, if you get 3 wrong, you fail the quiz, and the enemies come down, you have to beat them. Which is a lot slower. So now we're going to go down here in the sewers, and this is a pretty annoying part of the segment right here, because these little fuzzy things, they're pretty fast at chasing you, and the way they hop around, it's hard to tell how close they are to you. So when you pick up the stone, forced fuzzy battle happens, and I use a fire flower because they all have 3 HP, and fire flowers deal 3 damage, so it just knocks them all out in one hit. That was the fire flower that I picked up in the box in the previous area. And I need them to, the reason I ran towards them and then kind of away was, I need them to drop a specific item. I got really lucky there. I don't know how I made it past him. So I'm jumping in the water now because water slows you down a bit, kind of the same thing as the background. Yeah, the ones in this hallway kind of, like, bugged me. So I'm going to pick up the sunstone there, and another fuzzy battle. And since I don't have any more fire flowers, I have to use a fright mask. And fright masks don't have 100% accuracy. They work about 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time, like, one of them won't run away. So that causes a reset because you have to beat them in one turn. And that's exactly what I needed. I need flowers to drop to get back up to at least 4 FP. So I'm just going to make my way back now. And now I'm going to get into a forced battle with this gold fuzzy here. So he's got 10 HP, so I'm going to power smash. You don't need to do the full one there, but I like doing it because there's a strategy where you have to super guard him, and I'm pretty bad at it. So I just do that kind of for insurance, I guess. So he's got 6 damage dealt to him now. And these ones are pretty easy to attack. You can just hit A to normally guard, you don't have to super guard. And you have about half a second to do that. And since I did super guard him and I only have to hit him 3 more times, the only attacks that deal damage to him are jumping. So instead of jumping on him twice with Umbrella, I only have to jump once. And that's that. So I'm going to pick up this multi-bounce badge there and make my way back up and all the way back to the beginning of Petal Meadows where I was talking about those stone structures. So the fright masks that I picked up in the chapter, in the prologue, picked up 8 of them, and I'm not going to use all of them right away. Most of them get used in Chapter 3, when you have to go through a bunch of forced battles. And yeah, I just have to run all the way back there, so this is everything we've seen before. And I just end the segment here because it's just better to save. Because the next part is pretty tricky. I usually jump over that bridge because it seems like it's slower when you run up it, or just on top of it in general. So here's the guy we saw from earlier, just Koops. It's a Koopa with a band-aid and a cool sweater. So he joins your party, and he's just gonna explain what he does. And here comes his girlfriend, who doesn't want him to leave. Coo. But he has to because he wants to go find his dad, which is in a hotel castle. So I'm going to pick up this fire flower right here for later battle. And yeah, I really like in this game how there are no wild battles, like in a game like Pokemon or something, because I don't have to, really deal with that being luck. It's just you kind of have to run away from them. Also, another thing I like about this game that typically isn't in our other RPGs is this game has no critical hits, so all the strategies are not dependent upon that. It's just everything is a set damage, and it just changes depending on your badge setup, your level, and then defense stats, really. So those were the Sun and Moon stones that I picked up in Schwamp Fortress, and now I'm going to make my way into Hooktail Castle. And I'm going to go up top here because the bridge is taken out here, which you will see in a second. So the only way to get across, or for right now, is the plane. You don't need to come back here at all in the speedrun, so that's the only method you're really ever going to use. Once you get Yoshi, you can cross the gap with him. Paratroopers are generally pretty hard to avoid, but they were kind of in a good spot that time, and I picked up that Power Bounce, which Power Bounce is one of the best badges in the entire game. You use it for maybe around half the battles, just because of badge setups and what's really good, and just generally like the way it's designed, you can just jump on them as many times as you want as long as you're frame perfect with your jumping. It's overpowered. So all these dry bones here, you kind of just gotta smash through them to get to the red dry bones. So you're gonna use that fire flower there because just knocks them all out, and then you can just fail power smash and it'll kill him. So yeah, the idea is just to beat everything as soon as possible. Fire flowers are a great item because they hit everyone, and 3 damage is a pretty good amount, especially for chapters early on. I mean, nothing really has high health in terms of regular enemies until they get to like chapter 3, 4 maybe. So that's good. Dry bones, their spawn points are not random. They're always lying in the same spot. So I kind of run that way in the hallway each time. So here's a little puzzle here with some blocks. And then I used Koops to hit the other one. And then that switch moves the staircase around so I can grab a key over here. It's just a simple little puzzle. castle has a few puzzles, which makes it the more interesting part of Chapter 1. So now I'm going to make my way across this room and go into here. And that switch raises the rightmost gate. And there's another black chest, which you saw in the prologue, which means it's another curse. So we're going to just go in here and grab the key to the chest. And when you open that box, it triggers a sequence to drop spikes down. Generally, getting out of this room, a good time is with the clock at 36 seconds. So if you can get it with a 36, then you pretty much did it as fast as possible. And I jumped at the door there, so I messed up. I generally don't like jumping at doors because it just looks sloppy and it's not, you know, nice to look at. But when you redo these segments, and it's like an 8-minute segment, and I redo it, you know, I think I redid this one 16, 14 times, maybe something like that. It gets pretty annoying when you're this far into it, and you know, just to jump at the door wastes half a second. So yes, we got a paper curse there, which allows you to turn sideways, which is how you get out of this area. You can walk through little grates like this, and I'm going to pick up this badge here, which is Attack FXR, which basically just changes the sound effects of your attack. And FXR is the sound of a cricket, which the boss in this level hates crickets, so you can actually deal damage. So now we're going to backtrack all the way through here, because there's a little opening right here that we can go through, and pick up this key, which we will need later. And then we're just going to make our way back to that green block room, which is now the next room over, and going to end the segment there. So far, I mean, I know it's segmented, so obviously the mistakes are limited, but besides jumping at the door a few times, I mean, nothing crazy. And I'm just going to change my badge setup there, so I have Power Bounce, which uses up 3 badge power, and Attack FXR, which uses up 0. So now we're going to make our way up here to higher parts of the castle. And the key that we grabbed earlier, we're going to use right there. And we're going to hit this switch, which covers this area with some floor. And the next area, we're going to do a window jump, which if you run along the wall, and then as soon as you jump, you hold up left, you'll go into the window, and you won't have to hit that switch, which saves you a bit of time. It's pretty hard to do, but basically the visual cue that I use is when you're running to the left, as soon as you can see the floor that Mario is like parallel with, past the railing, that's when you initiate the jump. So we're just going to go into this room to pick up another key. Miss Meows, she can be a party member, but you don't need her. She's not really useful for anything. So she comes back a few times, but she's just story, really. So we're going to pick up this key, and since dry bones always spawn at the same point, as soon as you walk out this door, you have to get into this battle. There's no avoiding it. But since it would waste time to actually fight it, you just run away. And you lose 5 coins from running away. Other battles, you only lose a certain amount, but that one's 5. So now we're going to go here, and we're going to do another little puzzle in this room. So this dry bones, he always does the same thing where he runs up to the wall and then kind of forgets that you're there, and then he chases you again, and you can just outrun him. So you can just jump over him. It's the fastest way to do it. Just kind of traversing our way throughout the castle. And picking up another key. That's pretty much what this whole chapter is. Just picking up keys, unlocking doors, doing a couple puzzles. And now we've reached the outside and the top of the castle. This one, I really hate running by those enemies because it's really hard to tell where they are in terms of their location on the bridge, so they hit you sometimes. But generally, if you stay to the top side of the bridge, then they don't hit you. There's a spiky Goomba up here that's really annoying to run by because you barely outrun him, so you kind of have to drag him over and then just run past him. He can be annoying though, depending on where he is. And we're just going to save right before the hooktail fight, because this segment's pretty tough. This only took me 10 times. In my previous run that I did, it took me 32. It's pretty tough to do, the strategy, which I will explain when we get into the actual battle. So this is the monster that you saw fly overhead earlier, the dragon that flew into the castle at the very beginning of the chapter. But it doesn't really matter. Hooktail's one of the harder bosses. So what you have to do is you have to power bounce on him 9 times, and I believe I did it 8 times there. And then just shell toss. And then I didn't dodge his attack there, but it's not any slower if you don't, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, so I did it 9 times there, so now he only has 2 more HP. And shell toss is pretty hard. You can only flick the control stick for a couple of frames, otherwise it goes too far and it only does 1 damage. I let him attack me there because it's faster than just answering no to all of his questions, and you don't need that HP because I'm going to end it on the next turn. So I basically have to do 8 more power bounces and then another shell toss, which does 2, because he just recovered 10 health. The reason this battle is so hard with this strategy is because in every other part of the game, the most power bounces you do in a battle is 7, and you have to do 9, then 8, then 8 in this one. So it's pretty tough. I mean, usually I can get 6, 7, 8 really easily, but it's just that last one. It's pretty tough. So oh yeah, my video has interlacing lines, so that looked very strange. And he's just gonna spit out Koops' dad. So he finally found him again. And Koops' dad has the crystal star from inside Hooktail's belly, and Mario just grabs that, and that's gonna end the chapter. So it's a pretty quick chapter. The prologue is roughly 15 minutes, and then this one takes maybe about less than a half hour. So now there's Peach and Bowser segments here, which this entire thing is just text. Nothing really goes on. Just explains some backstory. She was kidnapped. So there's more of those X-Nauts. There's Crump that you fought at the very beginning of the game. And there's Grotus, who's the bad guy in this game. I'm not really sure what he is. He just looks like a machine in a robe and a cape, something. I don't know. But basically he is kidnapping Peach because he's trying to open the 1,000-year door, which contains a demon in it, and he needs Peach as a vessel for the demon. These are the Shadow Sirens, which appear in Chapter 2, so you will see them in the next video. And they come up in the game later on a few times. So now you can see outside there's some stars, so it kind of shows you the location. You go into that room later in the game, and now you play as Peach, and she doesn't know what she's doing here. So when you walk into this room, you're supposed to take a shower, but you can just walk in the room and then walk out, and that triggers the door opening. So you skip about 30 seconds there. Kudos to whoever figured that out, because the logical thing to do would be, you can't do anything, you just walk into that room. The only thing in there that you can do is shower. So you shower, and then you walk out, and then it triggers the scene. So you would always think that that's what would cause it. So now you're in this room here, and this is just TEC, or Tech. I don't know what you would call him, but he's basically just a supercomputer that runs the whole base here. And he grows fond of Peach over time, because apparently this computer has a heart. I don't know. But he lets Peach send emails, which when you're playing as Mario again, you receive the emails, and it tells you more about the story. So it lets you know what's going on and why everything is happening. And that just ends the Peach segment. I mean, nothing really happened. You just go through text and walk down the hallway. In later segments, you do more. But same thing happens in this one too, which Bowser segment. So right now, he's just gonna walk down the hallway, and you're just gonna have a conversation. And that's it. Later segments, Bowser has some really interesting ones where you kind of play mock levels from Super Mario Bros. Where there's like an overworld level, an underwater one, and a Bowser level. Those are probably the most fun ones that he has. Most of Peach's are garbage. It's just meant for story though. I mean, it's a big element of RPGs. But for speedruns, it's not needed. So this was basically the whole chapter 1, and I'm going to be doing all the videos in this style where I upload all my segments into one video, so it's just by chapter. Thanks for watching. Chapter 2 should be out fairly soon. I'm not sure when though. I haven't started playing it. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get a really good time, and if you want to keep following my videos, if you liked this, then you can subscribe to me. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.